Are you brand new to Atlanta, Georgia? This video is going to be your ultimate city guide to have you feeling like a local in no time. And that's coming up right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in Atlanta. This YouTube channel is all about helping you get to know what it's like to live in the Atlanta area. My name is Mark Brenner. I'm a local realtor here. I've been here over 15 years at this point, and when I got here, I knew absolutely nothing about Atlanta. So I thought it would be helpful to put together a little city guide for those of you who are trying to get to know the city. Really, not so much the basics that I usually talk about, but what are the practical things that you need to know living here to get around effectively, to find fun things to do, and just some local information and secrets that you don't usually learn until having lived here for a few years. All right, so let's get right into it. This is the BeltLine map, but I want to pull up a regular map of Atlanta, Georgia, okay? We're going to be able to mark on this map a little bit. So you see, this is the actual city of Atlanta here, and this is the perimeter. I'll actually mark this out for you so you understand. This is I-285, which is a really important interstate for you to be aware of living here. This is the actual city of Atlanta. So you may or may not be in the city, but in terms of being in town or out of town, you're either going to be ITP inside the perimeter of 285 or OTP outside the perimeter. So practical purposes for you knowing whether you're in town or out of town. Now, you may be in town or out of town. What are the interstates that you really need to be aware of? So again, I-285, which is a really important one to know. Then you've got 85 going right through the city, and then it bisects into I-75 to the northwest, and 85 continues on to the northeast, and you've got the dreaded downtown connector. This is some of the worst traffic in all the city. There are other hot traffic spots, usually where these interstates collide are where some of the worst traffic around the city is. So you've got 285, 75, 85, and then you've got I-20, which cuts across the city here, and that's how you'll get east-west. So 285, 75, 85, and I-20 are the major interstates that you want to familiarize yourself with. Now, what else do we want to familiarize you with while we're looking at the map? Well, probably good to know where the airport is. Hartsfield-Jackson is in South Atlanta. If you travel a lot, you commute to the airport because you work for an airline, obviously you're going to want to be a reasonable distance to South Atlanta. Now, I'm not going to get into a huge explanation of what's going on outside of Atlanta. There's amazing nature-related things to do in all directions, but I have to say one of the most popular things for Atlantans to do is enjoy North Georgia, the North Georgia mountains, Blue Ridge Mountains, going up into the Chattahoochee-Oconee National Forest here. Ellijay is a popular spot that I go to kayak a lot. There's a lot of great stuff to do in North Georgia, particularly nature-related activities. There's also vineyards up here that you can actually enjoy. A lot of people don't know that. So that is one major benefit of living on the north side of town, is your proximity to all the great nature-related activities found in North Georgia. But the next thing I want to talk about is more about how to get around, particularly public transportation and MARTA. So here we have pulled up MARTA's train stations and schedules. So if you want to know how you can get by on heavy rail, this is the entirety of it. You've got the red and gold line going north-south and the green and blue line going east-west. This is all the heavy rail there is. So if you're coming from New York or Portland or somewhere robust rail, unfortunately, Atlanta, you need to own a car, okay? Now, if you drive to one of these stations, you can cut your commute time by quite a bit, or if you live close to one of these stations, you might be able to get by without owning a car depending on where you're getting to and from. But in most instances, remember, Atlanta is a sprawled out, not dense city. You're going to need to own a car, but we do have some heavy rail. It is MARTA. This is what it looks like. These are where the stations are. It's typically $2.50 for a pass with 3 stops included, I believe. If you want to pay for the month, because this is going to be how you're commuting, $95 a month for unlimited MARTA. And again, for reference, here is the perimeter created by 285. So you can see how the public transit here kind of makes a T in the city. Now, let's talk about the BeltLine. This is definitely something that you're going to want to be familiar with if you live in the city of Atlanta. Now, this is not the perimeter, okay? This is the perimeter here. The BeltLine is kind of another perimeter inside the city, 22-mile former railway corridor, trains, rail ripped up, paved over, bikeable, walkable, scooterable. Now you're saying, what is the big deal about that? Well, again, Atlanta, sprawled out city, got to drive everywhere. This has connected neighborhoods that were previously really not connected. So what does that look like practically for you, for Atlantans? Well, it means you can go to Piedmont Park in Midtown and hang out, have a picnic, but you want a change of scenery, or maybe you want to go to one of the great restaurants in Inman Park. You can hop on the BeltLine, walk through Virginia Highlands. Maybe you want to stop at Pont City Market for some things, good shopping, good things to do here. And you can keep going right through Inman Park, which is an extremely popular part of the city, all the way. You can keep going south, okay? You can keep going through Reynoldstown and Grant Park and Peoplestown, all the way around. Some of it is just a dirt road right now, but you can come up through the West End. Tons of great stuff popping up in the Lee and White development along the West Side Trail of the BeltLine. This is going to be a closed loop at some point. The bottom line is you can now walk to some neighborhoods quicker than you can drive there from other neighborhoods. So it's created connectivity, it's created an opportunity to get outside, to be active, and it was created with light rail in mind. So there may be light rail on the BeltLine in the future, which, as you can imagine, is going to create even more connectivity. This is a really handy website for you, beltline.org. I've got the trails pulled up. You can see some of it's finished, some of it's not finished, some of it's under development. So you do want to research this before you go enjoy one of the trails to make sure you're not just walking on some construction or a dirt road. But this is really cool because you can pull up access points and it'll show you all the access points. It'll show you all the parks. So this is a very handy website. And if you're living in Atlanta, the BeltLine is one of the best amenities here, so it's important you're familiar with it. All right, let's jump right into weather for a minute. I'm not gonna give you the entire rundown. I'm gonna give you the local rundown. And one thing I've found that's really beneficial for this is the Real Seasons of Atlanta. This is brought to you by butter.atl. I've seen it on a bunch of other platforms. I don't think they own this in any way. We are not currently in the spring of deception. It's October here. We are actually in what we call fake fall. Only transplants fall for this one. What does that mean? It's gotten a little chilly here. The temps have come down. You might think you're in fall, but as of early August, that's not real fall. We are going to have at least another week of really hot temperatures, come back with a vengeance here. That will be summer 2.0. And then after that, we'll move into real fall. And then you've got winter 1.0. A similar phenomenon happens during Optimus Spring, where you think you're out of the woods with winter, but you're actually going to go into winter 2.0. So this is actually a very realistic layout of what the seasons look like living in Atlanta, so I thought that would be helpful to share with you. All right, we're gonna talk more about things to do, because that's one of the most important parts of a city guide is how do I get out there and figure out what to do? And one thing we wanna talk about is festivals. Now, there's simply too many festivals for me to share with you in this video, but discoveratl.com is a great way to see every event and not miss any of them. You can see in October, there's endless amount of festivals for you to enjoy. Pumpkin Festival, Atlanta Fair, Taste of Chambly, Chalktoberfest and Beer Festival, Taste and Brews. And these are just the smaller festivals, okay? The big ones that you may have heard of that Atlanta is known for, Music Midtown is hugely popular, Shaky Knees, Shaky Beats, the Atlanta Jazz Festival is fantastic. There's all kinds of film festivals. There's Pride, which is obviously huge. Dragon Con, it goes absolutely nuts in Atlanta. There's the Peachtree Road Race in July. It's a tradition. You wake up early, you run the marathon, then you enjoy your 4th of July. Around now in Halloween time, there's all kinds of Halloween parades, Little 5 Points. I mean, there are a lot of festivals. If you like to be outdoors with large groups of people, this is a great city for you. So I just wanted to cover some festivals and how to make sure you don't miss any. All right, but let's dive deeper into things to do, and make sure you have your pen and paper out because I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you. So we're going to pull up the map here. Again, city of Atlanta. All right, where are our fun things to do? You just moved here. Maybe you're visiting here. You're trying to get the rundown. Where do you go in this big city to hang out? Well, one area you want to be aware of is Buckhead. And really, Buckhead is a big area comprising a bunch of different other areas around here. This is the Beverly Hills of the South. This is where a lot of the money is. If you want high-end retail shopping in malls, you're going to want to go to Buckhead. Popular spot for high-end restaurants, though it's not where some of my favorite food is, but there are high-rated restaurants in Buckhead. There's a lot of money in Buckhead. Shopping, food, retail, businesses. Glitz and glamour can be found in Buckhead. Also clubbing. If you are going out late at night to a club, whether it's a regular club, a strip club, many of them are going to be found in Buckhead. Another area you're going to definitely want to be aware of is Midtown. This is the commercial arts district in Atlanta. There's the Fox Theater, fantastic venue to catch a show or a movie. High Museum always has a great exhibit going on. We already talked about there's Piedmont Park, best park in the city. BeltLine connectivity, picnic, hop on the BeltLine, Ponce City Market, Inman Park, whatever you want to do. Midtown has probably the highest concentration of fun things to do in the city, and it's going to be one of the most walkable areas in all of Atlanta. So you definitely want to be aware of what's going on in Midtown. Now, if you're looking for more fun, walkable, dense areas, I know people are always looking for those, and we don't have a ton, but I'll shout out a few more. So one would be Decatur Square in downtown Decatur. We'll zoom in here. So Decatur is going to have Decatur Square, dense, walkable area. Great restaurants over here. Brickstore Pub, best brew pub in the city. Highly recommend it. Downtown Decatur is a fantastic place to go on a date night, to go shopping, hang out. Definitely be aware of that. There's tons of in-town neighborhoods that are walkable as well. Inman Park is one of the most popular. BeltLine neighborhood, really good restaurants, people out and about, go to see and be seen. Old Fourth Ward is actually huge for nightlife, which is crazy because it's also a very historic district centered around civil rights. But at night on the weekends, there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of bars, people bar hopping, a lot of people out and about. So if that's your scene, that's where you want to go. If it's not, that's where you want to avoid. So be aware of Old Fourth Ward. Now keep in mind, y'all, this is broad strokes. There's plenty of amazing things to do all around the city. I'm only touching on a fraction of them that I think you should be aware of. Let's talk sports. You want to catch a game, you're a football fan, a baseball fan. Let's give you the rundown real quick. The Atlanta Braves play in the Smyrna area at Truist Park. It's in Cobb County, just outside the city, and it's known as the Battery, the general area where Truist Park is. And you can enjoy this whether or not there's a Braves game. It's a great park. The Braves are amazing, but you can go here when there's not a game. Restaurants are open, bars. It's really become a destination for people living in the Smyrna, Marietta area. If you're looking to catch a Falcons game, Mercedes-Benz is going to be in the downtown Bankhead area. This is where the Falcons play at the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And don't sleep on our soccer team, Atlanta United, one of the best sporting experiences you'll find in the city. If you're a basketball fan, you're looking to catch a Hawks game, that's going to be downtown. Let's talk more general things. The Atlanta Zoo is in Grant Park. The aquarium is in the downtown area. Those are very popular things to do. I mentioned High Museum. Atlanta Botanical Gardens is going to be in the Midtown area. So these, again, are some of the most popular things to do that you should be aware of. Let's talk more about food, okay? I mentioned Buckhead as a place with a lot of high-end restaurants, going out for a date night. Now listen, there's good restaurants scattered all over the city, but again, we're giving you some broad strokes. So maybe Buckhead for fine dining. You know, there's fine dining in all these fun little in-town neighborhoods, but really the good stuff is Buford Highway. All right, Chamblee, Doraville, northeast side of the city, inside and outside the perimeter, and all along Buford Highway is the best food in the city. We're talking about two worlds colliding, Latin America and Asia, and you've got Mexican cuisine, Peruvian cuisine, so many countries in Latin America, so many countries in Asia. There's great Chinese, Sichuan, there's great ramen, there's great pho, there's great hot pot, there's great dumplings. There is legit Latin American and Asian food all around Buford Highway, and most of it is way more affordable than any other food around the city. So if you're a foodie, if you're looking for great ethnic food, you've got to be aware of Doraville, Chamblee, all right? And the rest of the restaurants, they're scattered all over the place. Now, I'll give you another hint, especially if you're like me. I love Asian food, okay? It's my favorite. You want to be aware of Duluth. Duluth has one of the larger Asian populations around the city of Atlanta. And this is where you're going to find some fantastic Asian farmers markets, Asian food courts, and just great Asian restaurants in general. So Duluth is a great place to check out for all kinds of fun stores too, not just restaurants. Now let's talk farmers markets real quick. I know this is important. You move to a new city, you like to cook, you need to know where are the good farmers markets. So in Duluth, you've got Jusco, which is going to be great for specialty Asian, in particular Chinese. So look that up. You're going to have H-Marts all over the place. You're going to have H-Marts in Doraville, you're going to have H-Marts in Duluth. So these are great just generally for all kinds of Asian cuisine. But the two best farmers markets, in my opinion, are going to be the Buford Highway Farmers Market in Doraville, Chamblee. This is going to be where you want to get, they have a fantastic bakery, great Eastern European section. They have great seafood section, plenty of dry goods, plenty of frozen goods. They've really got it all. Buford Highway Farmers Market is absolutely fantastic. Now, the big debate here is Buford Highway Farmers Market versus DeKalb Farmers Market. I used to live in the Scottsdale area, so this is really special for me. But DeKalb Farmers Market is going to be in this area. It's fantastic. They don't allow filming in there, else I would show you footage. But DeKalb is really going to be for incredible produce and meat and seafood. They really do that better than almost anyone. Again, it's a debate with Buford Highway Farmers Market. DeKalb is also known for their incredible spice wall. Every spice you can think of in, organized in little containers at great prices. So DeKalb Farmers Market's really special. So if you're looking for those farmers markets, definitely check out DeKalb and Buford Highway. And then if you're looking for specialty Asian, there's H-Mart and Jusco, and there's others. I'm not covering them all, but those are some of the main ones you should be aware of. All right, so we've covered a lot so far. I hope you're feeling like you know the city a little better. Let's just touch on some random topics here. I've got written down bugs. I know people get freaked out about that, especially if you're coming from maybe Pacific Northwest where you don't really deal with that as often. You're looking at cockroaches and mosquitoes, which, you know, probably the worst two you could pick. I mean, well, there's probably more deadly insects that would be more difficult to deal with, but the mosquitoes absolutely love me. So this is a real thorn in my side. We do pay to get our lawn sprayed. Make sure you're doing it in a bee-friendly way, but yeah, we spray our lawn. The mosquitoes are killer. I don't really know what to tell you except get a screened-in porch is a huge benefit if you're house shopping. Honestly, the number one thing I'd be looking for is a screened-in porch so that I can spend time outdoors in our gorgeous weather without having to worry about getting bit. And then cockroaches, palmetto bugs, I don't really care what you call them. They will get inside. It doesn't mean your house is dirty. You know, there's a lot of older homes here, older apartment buildings. Not all these buildings are sealed very well, so these bugs will get inside. The best thing you can do is buy a product called Combat X Gel. They sell this at Home Depot. Put it around the perimeter of your property, around windowsills, door frames, wherever they're getting in, and you will still find bugs, but they will be dead bugs, and they will take the gel to their nest, and eventually you'll stop seeing them. So there's no way I can guarantee you can completely avoid these bugs, but a little bit of insight into how to handle them. The next thing you want to think about is allergies and pollen and ragweed and mold. Listen, this is not a great area if you're sensitive to those items. I've literally developed asthma since moving here. I don't know how else I can lay it out for you. I never had asthma, and then in the last few years I've developed asthma, mainly because of what's in the air, the pollen. I don't know what exactly it is that's causing that within me, but you will wake up. You noticed in the butter seasons guide, there's the pollinating, okay? And if you're wondering what that meant, it meant you're gonna go outside your door one day in spring, your car is gonna be covered in a yellow-greenish pollen continually for days. That's why car washes are so popular down here. But it's really bad. I don't know what to tell you other than to prepare to take Claritin every day or whatever your prescription allergy medication is. But I do just want to give you a heads up that people really struggle with allergies down here. All right, so we covered a bunch. We covered your interstates, your transportation, your things to do, bugs, pollen. There's one more thing if you want to be a local we have to discuss, and that is Waffle House, okay? And I have the Waffle House menu here pulled up. This is very serious business if you want to be a local. All right, look, it's not that great, but here's the thing. There is going to be a situation living in this city